Alright, look, lately I've been sitting back and watching all this shit that's going down, and I've been holding my tongue about it. And I do realize that almost nobody that watches this video is going to side with me at all. I understand it's impossible for me to make this particular video and expect the result to be droves of people coming and congratulating me on how cool I am. Most of the people that happen to come upon this video are going to refer to me as a hypocrite. I know this. But I would like to refresh your memory on a few things that happened 2.5, 3 years ago. Yes, I personally made a lot of video responses to Onision. Guilty. I pretty much belittled every single word that came out of his stupid mouth. Yes, it did indeed get me a lot of views and a lot of popularity very quickly. And it is true that even recently I've mentioned his name a couple times to make fun of him. And yes, I started war. But here are a few other key points that I would like to remind you of before you come at me with your simple, easy excuse/label of hypocrite that you're going to undoubtedly use to dismiss everything I'm about to say. I would like to remind you that war was simply an effort to collect response videos in one place and nothing more. And don't forget, as much as I rode Greg for all the dumb shit that flew out of his face, much of which I still disagree with to this day, I also at one point made a public plea to get people to stop spreading his home address online, which I actually still have and I'll post if I have to. And please note that once I realized what a mess evolved from war, I publicly denounced it and abandoned the texting name channel and all of its views and its subscribers to this channel to try to stand on my own 2 feet at least, without piggybacking off of the highly publicized hatred of someone who has nothing to do with me for the sake of view whoring. And yeah, in essence, that's what it was and that's what it still is, and I don't care what anybody says about it. To anyone who wants to try to act like that isn't true, I got a little challenge for you. Go to any of today's key players upload lists and scroll down the page and look at the view counts. Look at those numbers for the videos that mention Greg in any form and compare them to the numbers on the videos of their own original content that doesn't mention him. Are you really going to try to tell me that all those differences which appear consistently on all these people's pages are just a coincidence? Your hate boner must be draining all the blood out of your head because you're either in a staggering amount of denial or you're just completely retarded. A lot of you people are being used just as much as Greg is. And if that's just your thing, if that's just what you find entertaining, then fine, so be it. But don't expect anybody with any sense to buy the idea that you're any better than the person that you claim is drama whoring himself. You're the fucking hypocrites. You're a bunch of walking paradoxes is what you are. I'll be the first to admit, I did notice how much sudden attention and views just mentioning this guy's name was getting me. And yes, I did abuse that for a while. But myself, unlike a lot of the people out there, have the added benefit of being able to say that I stopped engaging in that shit years ago. Maybe some of you guys will remember the story of Bartman Homer. Here's a kid who made an underhanded move and accused Onision of sending him a private message in which he called him a nigger. What did I do in response to that? I attacked Bartman Homer for telling a lie just for the sake of smearing the guy because it wasn't fair. I knew right off the bat how highly unlikely that story was, and I hated the way it made our side look. The whole idea of war was to counter the half-ass points that Greg made about judging us based off of our diets, which is basically a means to allude to the idea that we're shitty people. That's what I was always against. But what actually happened as a result of the act of me assembling this effort? I actually did manage to attract a bunch of shitty people, like fucking moths to some kind of shit flame. What I actually learned was that maybe 0.05 of the people who were opposing Onision were actually coming from a truly just place. And the vast majority of these people were nothing but shitty little hate whores. Just bloodthirsty little drama vampires who just want to see somebody get ganged up on for the sake of rubbernecking some cyber train wreck. And most of those are the very people who are going to leave stupid, unthoughtful comments that have nothing to do with my points right here under my face. To that I say, go right the fuck ahead. Just remember, I dumped your kind first. All that being said, this new wave of people attacking Greg are making me fucking honestly sick. Granted, he still says dumb shit. If it weren't for my personal aversion for responding to him due to what a shitty cop-out view-whoring tactic it really is, and what brand of useless, thoughtless morons that shit attracts to me, I'd maybe counter some of the shit he says to this day. But even if that were the case, I would do it with videos. Look, I know that right now there's a lot of grandiose rationalization going on, but let's break this shit back down to square one, because here's what I see. I see a bunch of people using petty little revenge tactics and blatantly view-whoring and going really low to do that shit. Ironically low at that. I see people hiding behind this stupid stupid fucking flimsy idea that they're just concerned for people they don't even know. I see them using that excuse to become every bit as subhuman as Greg was accusing them of being 3 years ago. Defeating themselves and lying, at least outwardly, if not to themselves, about why they're behaving this way. Why the fuck would you go out of your way to contact this girl's parents in some effort to circumvent her ability to make her own decision? Who the fuck do you people think you are? Oh, I'm gonna tell your parents. Everyone hates people like that. I don't care what 15-minute video you try to use to rationalize digging up someone's marriage license and using it to threaten them. Type in a smiley face while you're doing it like some smarmy little shit. No, I call bullshit. Don't fucking tell me you're concerned or worried, because I know you're full of shit. You just want to stick it to somebody, and you can't admit it because it shows what slimy little fucking weasels you are. This fucking bloodthirsty drama-whoring horde is willing to accept the idea that you care, either because they're willfully ignorant or they're really that dumb. But I'm not one of them. You scumbags have to realize that there are some people out there who really realize what you're doing. You want to rake in the views and the popularity, and you're in this so deep that you're trapped. You started some kiddie little slap fight that your fucking 9-year-old egos and your tiny little pride is compelling you to remain in now at all costs. Take it from me, of all people, I know all about this. If you stop now, I guarantee your view counts will plummet. I guarantee you that. You can hit me with all the pretend denial you want, but I know that you know that too. And it's fucking consumed you. You're possessed. You have no control over it anymore. You want to dig up people's marriage certificates and post it on ED? I don't give a shit what you say. There's no excuse you can come up with for that doesn't out you as an obvious liar or a childish little shitbag of a human being. Actually, both. Your fake-ass looks of concern for the welfare of some innocent child are a sickening and downright disturbing insult to my intelligence, at least. You and I know what you're doing. You're going so far as to do research and handwrite letters to people's families so you can fucking meddle in their affairs. And you're doing all this shit away from the camera with this shit-eating grin on your face, denying to yourself what a lowlife you've really become. But oh, you're just worried. Give me a fucking break. You people have managed to go worlds lower than any of the shit you fake rail against for views. Your whole effort is a paradox and a fucking lie. Now, let's go through some of the possible responses I'm gonna get from the War 2.0 drama horde that fuels this fucking debauchery. First, you're gonna say, I'm just jealous of all the attention and views that the new effort is getting and all the people involved in it are getting. Did you not watch the beginning of this video where I explained why I willfully walked away from the texting name channel and all of its fucking views and numbers? Do you have the attention span of a fucking goldfish? Do you just not believe me? Does that make the slightest amount of fucking sense? You're fucking stupid. Then people are gonna probably ask me, why do you even care about this? The same reason I was against Greg in the first place, because people are getting picked on for no good reason. You can't say you're some anti-Onision good guy and still not understand that idea unless you were a phony all along to begin with. For me, it comes from the same place it came from 3 years ago, seeing someone's behavior online and getting ill. So I'm gonna challenge it. Am I gonna start examining the backgrounds of people's videos to track down where they hang out or dig up their fucking licenses and shit? No, but I will express how and why this is utter bullshit. Then there's gonna be some people who say, fuck it, I just like watching the drama. It's like TV for me. As long as you don't try to convince me that you're any better of a human being than these people are making Greg out to be, fine. Be a fucking callow douchebag. It's your right as a human being. Hooray for you! If that's your opinion, then you're entitled to it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Everyone's allowed to think what they think. While some people may be staggeringly misguided, there's nothing wrong with coming to your own conclusion for yourself. There's nothing wrong with expressing that opinion or how you've arrived at it. It's perfectly fine to challenge the opinions of anyone else. But when no crime is taking place, or nobody's getting physically beat up or having another person's will forced on them, and you take real physical action with the intent of trying to change somebody's life around, you're out of line. It is just simply not your place to throw yourself in the middle of the affairs of fucking strangers like that. That shit is creepy. What do you think, you're the fucking cyber police or something? Look, in a perfect world, nobody would be patting you on the back for being lying, meddlesome little cowardly shits. Oh, and speaking of getting patted on the back, if any of Onision's fans have the urge to give me kudos for making this video, save that shit. You people are just a slightly different shade of retarded on the spectrum that is the YouTube community. So fuck you too! One thing I've learned about the internet is that there is a fucking minuscule, minute slice of people who aren't psycho and or retarded anywhere in any of these communities. So So now, unless further provoked, I'm gonna go back to trying to exist independently of this bullshit that I'm honestly ashamed to be any kind of precursor to. Congratulations, fuckwads, you've out-shit-headed Greg officially. Great job! You've created some batshit parallel universe where Onision is right. Your next mission is to come up with some bullshit way to use car salesmen your excuses at me and the points in this video. Good day, sirs.